Good morning, Jonas. I love to see the enthusiasm in your post. You want to learn. So I'm going to try to help you here for the next 5 minutes. Let's see how it goes. Let me first qualify and say that I do not grow mugo pines. Mugo pines die where I live. It's too hot. I guess that's the problem. They might make it a year, but after that they always die. I've killed dozens, and everybody I know has killed dozens of all my good bonsai buddies around here. There might be one or two mugo pines in the collections that are more than 1 or 2 years old. Um, so anyhow, so I'm not going to talk about caring for this tree, but I will try to talk a little bit about styling. Um, Okay, this tree. Okay, first of all, when I pick stock to create bonsai from, the very first thing I look at is the lower trunk, okay, and then the roots. Okay, it's hard for me to see if you've looked at the roots or not. I suspect you haven't, but maybe you have and you just put the dirt back. But I see no exposed roots. It's important, very important, before you ever start a bonsai to see where the roots come from. If you work and work and work on this tree, developing it over a couple of years you have a nice top, then what happens when you finally uncover the roots and it's got crappy roots? You're going to be terribly disappointed. So always check these things out to start with. Take a look at the roots, get a feel for them. You don't have to totally expose them, but you can move away enough dirt to see where the roots are coming from, to see where the base is. When you're dealing with nursery stock, the roots might be another 2 or 3 or 4 inches below the soil surface. You have to figure those things out because that's really going to mess up your design if you don't. So start with the roots. That's my first advice. Second, on pine trees, it's very difficult to get back budding on some of these long stretches. Pine trees grow. Pine trees are one of the most difficult trees to style, in my opinion, because they don't grow like some of the other trees do, in that you will never have a branch between this point and this point, or between this point and this point, unless you graft. And I don't think you're ready to start grafting yet. I don't. That's certainly just my opinion, but um, this tree's a long ways from, to me, trying to go to the effort of grafting. Now, some might say it's easy. It's like everything else. Some people are really good at it, some others aren't. But so, with that in mind, this being your main trunk line is probably a mistake, because you only have branches here and up here. So that means you're going to either have bar branches, okay, or you're going to have two pads of foliage between here and here. And I don't think that's acceptable. So if this were my stock, if this were my material, and I knew the roots were good, I wouldn't even consider this trunk line. It also has no taper, or very insignificant taper. I would probably be looking at this line for my tree. Okay, it's got better taper. It's got a nice curve. Of course, it's small enough you can put all the curves in it you want. Okay, I would take this off, and I would probably take this off. I would try really hard to get some back budding in this branch next year, because really the foliage ought to start here, not here. So if you took this off next spring, or now, and you'll have to check with the people who know mugos whether it's an appropriate time to cut 80% of the tree off or not. But you could, next year when the time's right, also cut these back significantly, as well as cut a lot of this back. It will force back budding, and you might get some buds in this small wood. Most likely never in the big ones, but maybe in the small ones. The other thing you could do is you could do the trompe l'oeil. You could fool the eye here. You could put a lot more wire on this and curve this branch and bring this foliage back in. Okay, not the ideal solution, but it is a potential solution. As far as the top goes, it's difficult to see, but I think if you started with this being your trunk, this being your first branch, this being your second branch, I'm not sure about this branch. It looks like it's a long ways out. I think you'd be better off. But anyhow, my 5 minutes are just about up. So good luck with this. Remember to look for that taper, look for those roots. I think you have some potential in this tree, but you're going to have to work to find it. So good luck, Jonas.